Hello and welcome to Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction, brought to you by the Modular Building Institute. This podcast is also brought to you by Modular Genius, an MBI and AIA award-winning design-build modular building contractor. Whether you're looking for a custom permanent modular building or a relocatable building, Modular Genius will take your concept and make it a reality. If you're interested in reducing costs and accelerating your schedule, please visit modulargenius.com to get a free quote in 60 seconds or call 888-420-1113. Mention this ad and they will create a free custom floor plan for your project. That's modulargenius.com. Welcome everyone, my name is John McMullen and I'm the marketing director here at MBI. Today I'm joined by Gary Badge and Manny Lamarche of Florida-based design firm Fugleberg Koch. Gary and Manny are here to talk about FK's transition to new leadership and how modular design and fabrication is going to play a big role in the company's future. Gary and Manny, welcome.
Hi, John. How you doing this afternoon? Appreciate your time.
Oh, sure. I'm doing great. I hope you guys are as well.
We are. Yeah. We're very excited to be part of the MBI Institute. We joined earlier this year. Transitioning from new leadership is going on. I'm one of the younger principals here at the firm. Manny here is a senior designer. We've both been with Fugleberg Koch for many years now. And we really saw times changing, with the pandemic and things that are going on. So one of the efforts we discussed was exploring new and innovative and creative ways to expand some of our capabilities. We already have a strong design base, and we thought modular could play a big role in what we do.
Well, that's fantastic. I know, speaking on behalf of everyone here at MBI, we're thrilled you guys are members now. I think you're going to bring a lot, and hopefully you can get a lot from your membership. So, Gary, tell me about yourself. How did you get into architecture?
Well, I think it was, a passion I had as a young kid in high school. I liked to build and fiddle with things, so I was in athletics a lot, and then when I got to college I decided that maybe I needed something more concrete to rely on than my pitching arm. So I started to explore architecture, graduated University of Florida 2001, and it's kind of been a nonstop show since then. I've worked for a few firms now. I've been in South Florida, I've been in Central Florida, and it's been an exciting wild ride for me. So I'm at Fugleberg now 17 years.
Oh wow!
It's been real exciting. I've grown with the company. It's kind of like a homegrown thing, so I'm really enjoying it. And I'm a principal now, so that's even more exciting because the future has a lot to offer.
Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. Manny, how about you?
Well, I started when I was very young, around 19 years old. I was living in South Florida, in Miami, and for several years I worked as a land surveyor, an assistant land surveyor. So I guess just by force of measuring buildings, I started to become more interested in how to put them together. And after several years, I decided to go to school and earn my diploma in architecture.
Well, very good. So tell me about FK itself. In looking at your website, you guys seem to offer a very wide range of design services.
That's true. We do, and we are hoping to continue that effort moving into the future. We've been in business 55 years, maybe 56 at this point. Bob Koch, Lyle Fugleberg, the founding partners, started as a small operation in the 60s, and it blossomed from there. Bob Koch is still around to this day, so he's still kicking. He can't seem to get away from it. He loves it so much. But the firm's grown through the times, the changing times. It's survived a lot of recessions and downfalls and ups and downs, and it's been resilient and stable. And we've always had a passion for innovation and creativity, and the firm's always sought to explore things with the changing markets. So hospitality was a big sector for us, multifamily a big sector, food and beverage, mixed use, renovations, and now we're the modular. We think that's going to be key to our future success. being in a market today where multifamily seems to be the mainstay for most things going on in the country, we've had a strong hold in that sector for a long time. So based on what we see coming and what we had growing as a firm, I think that we're going to be poised to do a lot more with the modular than we had. So,
well, you guys touched on this at the very beginning, and then you just mentioned modular construction again. Was there something specific that got your firm interested in modular construction?
Well, the company has a very long history of great design. There's been, in the early days, work for Disney and Universal, and throughout the years, more multifamily and hospitality. But always there's been a great interest in developing methods that lead to efficiencies and to improve the design process and the documentation process in order to always have better buildings. And Bob Koch, from the early days, instilled in all of us the importance of using a modular method, a grid method, to lay out the plans and even to think that way, when we're putting buildings together. And so with that design philosophy, Gary and I started to talk about it. It's like, well, modular technology really could be, we can integrate it into our design process because we're already thinking modularly.
Right.
And every project is done on what we like to call Bob's grid, and that's how things start. So we actually went through some exercises of looking at buildings that we've done in the past that we could convert to modular technology.
Oh, cool. Well, that kind of...
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
That's okay. It's been a really fun process, because Manny and I, as we're sitting here, we were brainstorming, we realized, geez, all these years we really have been designing modularly. We have a system, that goes together, and there's a formula for it. And so the migration seemed like a no-brainer for us, really. It was just easy to segue into it, and so Manny really latched on to exploring how things are going throughout the country with it, and we just started digging in. So it's been fun.
Well, speaking of segues, you've segued into my next question, and you've partially answered it, I think. What's been your process so far for learning about modular design? But I'll follow up to that question to say, have you included any new processes that you hadn't before done that helped you design for modular buildings, or any new techniques that you've had to apply for modular buildings?
Well, the first thing that came to mind was designing for transport. So we never had to consider the forces of DOT on a project. We design in Florida for hurricanes, we design other places for earthquakes, snow loads, and what have you, but we never knew about, you have to keep the building together on a flatbed truck, and then what are the parameters of designing for transport? So that kind of changed, how we looked at our grid. So the grid had to morph into a modular position so that we could get it to and from where we needed to go. So I think that was one thing that we've latched onto and made part of the process as well. The other thing was, where do some of the connections happen? Our conventional frame projects, everything, it can be built on site. Well, you got to think, if you're building off site, what happens when you get to the site, and what do you have to have in place so that the things can easily go together? So there's been a number of things that I think have been new segues for us that have helped us along with what we've been doing.
In addition, as with any time we have, you start to look at things with different eyes. Education is very important, and this is where the Modular Building Institute has been fantastic. And, we send an email to Dave Sikora, and he puts us in contact with some people, and we talk to them, and we learn a lot from them, and start conversations, and that starts to inform refining our own method of how to go about modular design and incorporating modular design into our design process.
Yeah, joining the Modular Institute's been fantastic. I mean, everybody's been so easy to work with and willing to help, and the sharing of information has been key to our acceleration and learning, how do we do this technique. You always have a research process, and you can use the internet, you can use whatever, but having a network with the Institute has opened our world up immensely. We're able to talk to people over in the west coast of the United States. We're able to talk to people overseas. We're able to talk to people in our region. Everybody's sharing the information, so it's been tremendous. I can't say enough how fun it's been too. So.
Well, thank you. I know Dave enjoys his job. He's really good at it. So I'm thrilled that you guys are able to take advantage of his network and his knowledge to get more connected. That's fantastic. Has your firm faced any challenges with integrating modular design into its overall portfolio?
I think right now, John, our biggest challenge is, convincing the clients that we have that there are incentives and advantages to modular that they weren't seeing, or overcoming their preconceptions of what modular means, right? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people think modular is manufactured homes, trailer homes, things like that, but it's not that at all. And so the challenge is, can we get a large portion of our projects that we do in a repetitive fashion? Can we get those clients on board with modular? Can we take what we have to show them, look at these efficiencies, look at how we're going to save you time with the delivery of the product, save you time from all the reviews and permitting processes with the local jurisdictions. How do we get you an improved product? The quality. We got to show you how the quality gets improved. We show you how, you're building a more sound structural building. So we feel like, we've had a few meetings so far with our clients that we had that we thought were right for this opportunity to do modular. And so those are some of the things that, they kind of hem and haw at, they don't understand, but I think we've been pretty successful in explaining to them, look, you may not save money in the cost of the materials, but you're saving in so many other avenues that there's got to be a strong value to going with modular. It's more environmentally friendly. It's more friendly to the neighborhood you're building in. There's not as much disruption. So, when you have your city meetings and your town hall meetings, and the neighbors will complain about the new project going up and the traffic increase. I mean, we're able to promote modular in a fashion that, we're in and out. We're not there for months on end making dust balls and causing noise and disturbance. We can also build these more efficiently with less land. We're promoting it so that we don't have to develop, 30-acre parcels as much anymore. We could do modular by repurposing buildings. We could do modular by smaller projects but taller projects. Those are things that I think that we keep coming against. But I think we're able to have a strong argument, and with the support of what we've learned from your institution, there's a lot of backup to it. So, what do you think, Manny? Am I right?
Yeah, I'd like to add that there are two aspects that I think are unique in developing an argument for modular construction, and it has to do with quality control and cost control. Every single contractor, every single owner is always looking for efficiencies, for ways of doing things better. On-site construction suffers from, no matter how good the documentation is, subcontractors miss things when they're building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so the fact that modular construction is you have a factory controlled environment where you can check and double check and triple check, and when the product is done, it's actually been, everything that's supposed to be in that module is there.
Right.
So, your assembly time on site now is a lot more efficient, faster, and clients end up with a product that is of higher quality.
Right.
Because everything is being monitored and controlled in the factory. Mm-hmm. So I think that's we're very optimistic that going forward we can integrate it with the way we design our buildings and plan our sites. We can integrate that modular technology into our process.
And that brings to mind, John, because we're developing the product in a factory environment, the owner-contractor clients that we have are having a hard time wrapping their heads around, well, who's responsible for what then? When do I take control of it on site, and how much of it is done in the factory? So those are challenges that we're trying to find a better argument for and have the answer readily available so that everybody feels comfortable, they know what to do, they know how to price it at their end. And so you take away that ambiguity that's there initially. That's what we have right now is, well, I don't know, I've never done this, so how do you do it?
Right.
And so we've got to find the best way to argue that. And again, through the network, we're able to get in touch with people that have done it, so it gives us a jump start on how we can deliver the message.
So again, you sort of teed me up. The modular industry is certainly growing. It's certainly becoming more mainstream. But I think it's safe to say that most architects, most design professionals haven't really embraced it yet. And you've touched on this in some of your other answers. One of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you today was to sort of get your feedback on this. Why do you think it is that a lot of architects, a lot of design professionals have been so reluctant to embrace modular?
Oh, for me, it's change in general. I think people are afraid of change most any time that you're faced with it. They don't understand the unknown. Conventional framing, for instance, is well known, been around forever. Everybody understands it. They can measure it. They got their metrics, their formulas. Modular in our country, they don't understand it as much. And since we're a capitalist society, everything's the mighty dollar and hurry up and get it done. I think everybody pushes the easy button. But our firm, we take a step back, right? We see this time with the pandemic while everybody's focused on that. Yes, that's important. But we've got time to strategize and think about the future and think about the way we're doing projects. So we think that change is fun. Change is exciting. We overcome it. We're not afraid. Mm-hmm. It's the scary makes us cartwheel into the future even faster because it's that adrenaline rush. I can't speak for everybody, and maybe that's not necessarily the case, but I certainly think that when you're not familiar with something, you tend to be hesitant about even entertaining it. Do you think that's right, Manny?
Yeah. No, in my opinion, I think we just have to do a better job of educating our clients. First, educating ourselves in our case, because we're in that process of learning about it. But as we see the value of implementing modular technology, we need to do a better job as designers and design professionals to educate the clients about the benefits, the pros of using the system, the various systems. I mean, it's a very there are complexities to it.
Sure.
That I can see how people could misunderstand, or just the moment you tell them the building is built in a factory, they
freak out. What is that?
Yeah, there's some people that are
making soup cans.
What is it? They're putting 2x4s together and nailing them, and so that whole process is out of their hands. So I can understand how that creates a knowledge vacuum there that has to be filled, and I think that's where we need to be much better at educating.
With any new product too that's ever come out, somebody doesn't understand the iPhones when they came out, so everybody's hesitant, but it was shiny and they wanted to keep playing with it. I mean, and then when the word got out how to use it, everybody wanted one. Look how easy it is, and it's that way with most things in life, I think.
Well, since I've got you here, and you've definitely hit upon some of the big barriers for design professionals and really anyone outside the industry they just need to get familiar with modular. What can MBI do to help reduce those barriers for design professionals?
I think what you're doing now is one of them. Having the podcast, getting the message out, continuing to network, marketing and promoting, and holding seminars. I mean, I watched a webinar not too long ago with an architect out west that described his process and how they do modular. And the more that you promote it, the bigger your network. I think the faster the message is delivered, the better opportunity you have to educate, as Manny was saying. I think you guys have that stronghold. I think your Modular Expo that you do is awesome, and that's a forum to get more people involved and engaged. I think the publications that you offer digitally and hard copy, I think those are ways. And I think as long as you promote it so that people want to get involved, there's a big benefit for them to be as part of your organization. I think that helps the system, really.
Well, you mentioned the Modular Expo, a World of Modular that's coming up in March. You guys should do a session. I think that would be a fantastic topic. I think a lot of design professionals outside the industry might really get some benefit from that. Not to twist your arm or anything, but maybe something to think about.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, we're open to it. We were hoping to have gone this past year, but I think that we'll have better opportunity to get prepared for it now. So. Mm-hmm.
So what can you tell me about the modular projects that you have on the horizon? Are you working on anything super interesting?
Well, we've got two things going on right now, and one new client we're trying to court to get involved with modular. So the one client we have, we've had an initial meeting. We're going to have another meeting, and I think, as Manny mentioned earlier, the more we educate them, I think they're going to come around and see the benefits, because it's a client that values efficiencies, cost effectiveness, quality control. Of course, they pay attention to the bottom line, but that's not the end all for them. Mm-hmm. There's other things because they own, they operate, so they're paying attention to what they're delivering to their occupant. And so we feel that project, even though it's a garden-style project, I think that's going to be a huge step hold for us to kick off the division for many of our projects, and it's a well-known client, so I think the ripples in the pond will hit the shores. Other people will take notice, and so it's really a catalyst. And that project, it was like a natural fit for converting to modular, in my opinion. The other project is out west, and that's being thought of a little differently. It's about delivery of the project and a certain portion of it. So I think that's going to be exciting to see how that infills with the rest of the things that we're doing out there in the mixed-use environment. And then the other client, a new client, well, they're interested in exploring new opportunities and doing things differently that other people aren't doing, so that they could be the first to promote it and differentiate themselves from the competition. So for us, being on the ground floor with a client like that is awesome, because as we grow, they grow, we grow, and hopefully we got them for a client for the next 50 years.
Well, that's fantastic. It sounds like you guys have a bunch of exciting days ahead of you. 2021 sounds very promising for FK. Hopefully you guys can send a case study or two our way to share with everybody.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, Manny's fantastic with presentation and getting in there and designing and mixing it up, and I think we'd be happy to share what we come up with everyone. Well,
just let me know. Like you said, we've got a magazine, we've got all kinds of ways to get information out, so that would be fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Manny and Gary. I really appreciate your time today.
Sure.
We appreciate your time, John. Thanks. It was great talking with you.
Thank you.
My name is John McMullen, and this has been another episode of Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction. Until next time.